Yeah, little irony yesterday. Kalen DeBoer, head coach at Washington, named Michael
Right.
Penix as head coach as the starting quarterback. I was not surprised. Indiana also named their starting quarterback. Tom Allen named their starting quarterback yesterday, but they named it to the team. But Tom Allen said that he was going to do that. It's not
Right.
something that he surprised anybody with. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I really don't. I like surprises. Hey, at this point, I almost sent this tweet out, then I thought better of it because it may have just been taken the wrong way. But I was going to say, if you were pregnant and you went this far and didn't know, would you want to know at this point or just wait?
Good.
I mean,
I'd wait. I'd wait.
yeah,
I
you've
mean,
gone
in the
this
old
far.
days, you didn't know the sex of the baby. You had to wait until the day was birth. His birth. And now there still are some couples that wait. They don't want to
especially
know.
if you've gone this far, you're not going to change that now. So hell with it. Just let's ride this thing out, man. I'm cool with that.
I'm more interested in is whether the secret's going to hold. Because
that's kind of funny. Yeah.
obviously there's a lot of kids on the team that know, and I doubt any of them would be that dumb to tweet it out or say anything, but they talk to somebody and then somebody talks to somebody, and we're going to see something on social media or a message board somewhere saying, I heard from my cousin's girlfriend's brother that the quarterback is Connor Bazelak. That's going to happen.
Yeah, but but then immediately what else is going to happen? There's going to be one that says the exact opposite. I heard that Jack Tuttle has got the starting position. And not that. Then what about the one that's going to bring in the number 3 guy
Dexter,
who has quietly gone about his business? And wouldn't it be a little bit of a shocker to hear Tom Allen say Dexter Williams has emerged as number 1?
Yeah, I'd be totally shocked. I don't see that happening from the standpoint of I don't think they're going to put a guy in a conference game on Friday night who's never played a snap of college football at quarterback, right? He's never played.
Yeah,
right?
No.
We need to have a pool going here, so I'm taking Bazelak, and you guys can take him too. I just think it makes.
Well, I've said it. I've taken him all year, so I'm not switching. I've said that all season because, and I'll say it again, I think that's the type of offense that they're going to have to run. They cannot run some pro style offense where you go back, take a five step drop, and stand there looking and going through your picks. That's not happening with this team, not with this offensive line. And so I think it's going to have to be a no huddle, always in the shotgun, kind of some drop back passing, but a lot of movement passing, a lot of movement with the run. I think it's just going to be an offense that has to keep you thinking and moving. And I think that Bazelak is more that style quarterback, but Dexter Williams also very, very, very good dual threat quarterback.
If Dexter Williams is healthy and he's good enough, I think at some point he would be a good option for the team, because I think in many ways when you're Indiana, you have to have some kind of a different wrinkle or gimmick to your offense to be successful, because in most games and against most teams, they're going to be out-talented and their offensive line's under siege. So there's value in having a mobile quarterback. Lack of mobility has hurt some of these other guys because they take too many hits. I just don't know, all I know about Dexter Williams is what his stats were in high school when I think he played in Macon, Georgia. He's a 3-star recruit, didn't have a ton of other big offers, and he's been hurt now off and on for 2 years. So I think then my Siri wants to talk to me.
Thank God help's on the way.
Yeah. I think it'd be good for them to have that kind of quarterback, whether it would be similar to a Trey Roberson or who are some of the other. There's a couple others that I'm missing that they've had a quarterback. Ramsey wasn't.
And Antoine Randall L.
Antoine Randall. Wasn't there? Was it Kellen Lewis? Was he one?
Yeah, the year that they had the 3 quarterbacks, that all 3 were good. Daggone it. And one ended up transferring to Northern Illinois, I think.
Kaufman and Sudfeld were the other two, along with Trey Roberson.
So
Cameron
there you
Kaufman.
go. They had, but they went through a time when Kevin Wilson's here, but they had a lot of good quarterbacks at the same damn time. And boy, it's just actually it's since Kalen DeBoer left, it's kind of went down, but that's a whole different story. But
we'll see what he does. I'm fascinated to see how it turns out for Penix. I mean, Washington is a program that aspires to be in the top 25. I mean, they don't. He's there because they don't accept mediocrity. They've been through a number of coaches in recent years, and this is his first chance, for the head coach to make an impression, and he's going with Penix. And A, if Penix is can he deliver, and B, can he stay healthy? That's the thing about Penix. I mean, he never could stay healthy for more than 4 or 5 games in a row in Indiana.
I predict that he goes the entire season at Washington healthy and has a phenomenal season.
Completes 70% of his passes and is a borderline Heisman candidate.
Well, I think
all Pac-10 candidate.
Look, if that happens, people are going to look at Tom Allen and be really critical. But I mean, Indiana just doesn't have the offensive line where he could be successful, in my opinion. He's not as mobile, especially because of the injuries. He has to have time to throw.
Right.
He's not a great scrambler. I just think it's going to be an unleashing if that kind of season happens. But I don't know Washington's offensive line situation, but there's no chance it's worse than what Indiana has, or had, I should say. I don't know what.
No, there's no chance. There's no chance.
There's a reason Indiana's the losingest Division I football program in the history of Division I football.
And we've been saying this from April. I'm going to say it again this week, and I'll say it again next week. Indiana has to win this game. They really do. I know Illinois plays the first week, but after you went 0-9 in the conference and finished 2-12 and squandered all the good momentum you built up the previous 2 or 3 years, when you get a chance to play at home in the Big Ten against one of the lesser teams from the other division, you got to win. If not, the negativity is going to be strong. This is your chance to win the first one. Then you can beat Idaho. Then you can beat Western Kentucky, and you build back, some of the feel-good feeling, and you have a chance to say, last year was the aberration. If you lose to Illinois, it's a tough slog the rest of the year, I think.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Yeah, because who else are you going to beat on that schedule if you can't beat Illinois? And I think Illinois is going to be better, so I think it'll be a tougher test. But I said this too, like Maryland's getting better, Rutgers is getting better, Purdue's getting better. All those teams, there's not an easy game on that schedule. So if you can't beat Illinois, it's hard for me to get you past. I mean, Western Kentucky might be a tough out. So you could be looking at another between 1-11 and 3-9 season if you can't win that first one against Illinois.
Yeah, I saw Stuart Mandel posted his picks at The Athletic, and he had Indiana 0-9 in the Big Ten and 2-10 overall.
Pick Six previews is the only one I've seen thus far to pick Indiana not last in the East.
Really? I think Phil Steele has him 6th. I think he has him 6th, and he has Rutgers 7th.
Okay, so those two have Rutgers. And that's something that Indiana was fighting to get away from, and then last year put them right back into this position. They were in that category of being decided, well, is it going to be Indiana or Michigan State that is this 4th team in the Big Four? And then, boy, they've lost that ability. But part of that's Michigan State has risen up. Michigan State now look to be probably the 2nd best team in the East. I don't know.
That's a little strong.
In the East, because Michigan. I don't know enough about.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's preseason top 10 in the coaches poll and the AP poll.
But Penn State not ranked. Surprise! Penn State not ranked with a 4th-year quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people in Penn State are howling because you're hearing Will Levis is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country, and they didn't give him the job ahead of Sean Clifford, and he's at Kentucky and getting a lot of acclaim. So, yeah, Penn State's kind of taking a drop back. They got some decent freshmen, but I don't think they're going to be a factor in the Big Ten East at the top of it this year.
They are dealing with the same thing that Indiana is. They just have better recruits. Like their offensive line has been horrendous. So I don't think. Yeah, I think if Will Levis stayed at Penn State, I think they would be in the same situation. Sean Clifford transfers out. He's having a breakout. He's the guy that's the top 5 quarterback, and Will Levis is the one struggling. I just think their offensive line has not been good for the past 2 years. Same thing as Indiana. They couldn't run the ball. They didn't have a single 100-yard rusher last season at Penn State, considering they had 3 or 4 and 5-star running backs in the backfield. It was crazy. But like I go back to what you just said, Jim, with Indiana trying to get out of this cellar dweller sort of mentality. I almost think it's better suited that nobody picks them to win, because I think this may be a mentality thing, but I think Tom Allen's a better underdog coach.
I agree.
I don't think this now, can they get to consistently be bowl eligible 8-4? Yeah, I think they could probably hang around there, but the team did not handle the pressure of trying to be a contender in the Big Ten East. Yeah. They didn't handle that well. I think Tom Allen, his strength is being an underdog kind of coach. So I think that's what gives you some sort of cautious optimism heading into this season.
I agree that, and I think the whole team needs that us against the world mentality right now. On defense, they're going to need that junkyard dog mentality that they're supposed to lose every week. Everyone's not expecting them to win. So yeah, I think that can sometimes work mentally, but the winning is the big thing. Winning the Illinois game, they're going to win the next 2. I was talking to Bob Kravitz earlier. He doesn't think they have a shot at beating Cincinnati on the road. Yeah. And I disagree that if they're 3-0, first of all, they're 3-0, which that's momentum, but they're also 3-0 because they're winning and they've beaten Illinois and they've got 3 games under them. It'll depend on how those 3 games have looked. If they're winning those games like they won the Northwestern game or Western Kentucky game last year, well, I'm not thinking they're going to beat Cincinnati. But if they're winning and getting better, man, I'm going to think they have a serious shot to go 4-0. Then you look at going to Nebraska, who may not be as that good either. And are we talking crazy land now? And Indiana potentially going 5-0. I know that's putting the horse an entire stock full of horses in front of the coach. But I was like, I started thinking, I'm like going, but I do that every year. I'm like going, well, yeah, they could have, but they ended up 1-3 instead, or whatever the case. So
yeah, I'm not ready. They were so non-competitive in so many games last year that I can't go to that point. I think that the biggest thing I need to see is they need to have the ability to have more plays of 20, 30, 40 yards. They were very poor at that stat last year. Tom Allen's talked about it, and they're not good enough on the offensive line to put together a bunch of big drives. When they had the explosive offenses under Kevin Wilson, Tevin Coleman was a threat to bust one almost every time he got the ball. They had Whop Fillier who could make some big plays. That you need to see some playmakers from this offense to take the pressure off them to have to drive the length of the field. And how do we know? There's all these guys are new. I mean, the receivers are new. The quarterback probably is new. The running backs definitely are new. The only guys the tight end's new. He was there last year, but he's new. The only guys that are the same are the offensive line, and that's not entirely a good thing.
I was just going to say, just experience does not translate to good play. So they're going to have to show us something along the offensive line. You can say that the experience helps, and it does, but if you're not any good, it doesn't matter if you've played 1 year or 6 years.